Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Film Podcast. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Tyler.
And today we're not talking about Ready or Not 2. We're talking about They Will Kill You. Essentially, a very similar movie.
Yeah, very much so. I remember when I remember when I first saw the trailer for this movie, I knew that Ready or Not 2 was coming out, but I hadn't seen the trailer yet. And I actually thought that the sequel to Ready or Not 2 was just going to be like an unrelated sequel set at a different part. And then I'm like, oh, that's what the movie's called. Okay, I guess this is oddly similar.
I remember that. You actually patted my leg. You're like, oh, it's Ready or Not 2. And I was like, it is?
Couldn't have been wrong. Like, it's funny they were released a week apart from each other too.
Originally supposed to be on the same day. It was switched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna get into it, but like, there's similarities to that and other projects here. But so this movie stars Zazie Beetz, who is kind of been a bit of an up and comer lately. She's kind of anchored by other more well-known stars to maybe at the minimum famous faces. Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy's in this movie. Patricia Arquette, just kind of being a good solid star anchor to this movie. It involves Zazie Beetz trying to find her sister in this mysterious hotel that might be doing some devil worship, and they decide that she's going to be a sacrifice, and she kind of has to fight her way out of their grindhouse style to rescue her sister. So, Ryan, what did you think of Ready or Not 2? I mean, They Will Kill You.
Well, it's so funny that you refer it to Grindhouse because, I think I even told you in the theater, I was like, this is basically Ready or Not 2 if it was made by Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. It bleeds their style of filmmaking.
Yeah.
It is. I thought it was a good movie. It was an interesting movie, but I also feel like it is a movie that is destined to be forgotten with time. No, go on. Definitely build off that.
No, you're not entirely wrong. Like I don't think that there's enough here to like by year's end. Like, I usually do it by year's end. Like,
Yeah.
am I gonna remember this movie when year's end comes? Most likely not. But yeah, I mean, I think there's some stuff in here that's, worth celebrating. But yeah, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, no, I agree with you fully because the pacing of the movie flew by. I literally looked at my phone and I was like, "Are we already at the end of the movie?" Because this feels like it was quick, really quick. It has some great action scenes. I want to make the comment because we're getting in this phase now of Ready or Not 2 and They Will Kill You. They're referring to these as horror movies, and I don't really refer to these as horror movies. I would consider them more dark action movies, and I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, if anything has changed over the last 25, 30 years, it's what a horror movie actually is, right?
Mm.
I think it, it's from the same lens. If this isn't a horror movie, then it's Saw. Because I mean, it's the same basic principle, right? I mean, Saw is essentially a
Crime thriller.
It's a pulp crime thriller with just a lot of blood and gore. And yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. The definition of the term horror has definitely expanded over the course of the last 25, 30 years or so. I think for good and bad. But
I mean, I could counter though also what you said with Saw is I'll go back to a movie that I love a lot, Donnie Darko. Is Donnie Darko really a horror movie?
I think that's the thing. Does a movie having horror elements make it a horror movie? I mean,
no, it does not in my opinion at least.
Yeah. I think it depends on how much the movie leans on those horror elements, right? But yeah, sorry. What was your original point?
It's just going back to we're getting in this phase of these movies coming out and they're like, this is the new horror movie this week. But I personally am not considering these horror movies.
Well, I know me and you go to the movies pretty much every Tuesday. I know I missed one or two because of I suffer from migraines, so one or two because of that. But yeah, I think there's been an awful lot of like quote unquote horror movies so far this year.
Yeah,
Like pretty
this
much
year
every
and
week,
last
like
year.
we can go see a horror movie if we really want to. Like
I'll be honest, look back at our previous videos, we're slowly turning it into a horror movie channel. Like I'm digging it. It's my boat, but
I mean, oh really? The wall didn't give it away. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily against that either. Like I mean, if I usually have the most fun with the horror genre than a lot of other stuff. I feel I'm more forgiving of horror's um crap, for lack of a better term, than I am other genres. And yeah, I mean, I have a hard time calling this movie a horror movie.
yeah.
Like, there's no real semblance of like build up tension or anything. I mean, maybe towards the beginning of the movie when she doesn't yet quite yet know what's going on, that whole sequence with the people breaking into her room, like that was probably about as scary, like in the prototypical sense, that I would say this movie gets. Otherwise, I mean, I mean, you're not wrong. Like, this movie wears its many influences on its sleeve. I mean, you see Ready or Not here. You see the works of Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, sure, even like some of his disciples, right? Like, the movie, even in its shot choices, chooses to model its action scenes after well-known action directors, right? I mean, you have a lot of sequences that remind me of the movie The Raid. Um, there's a dolly zoom shot that was like straight out of Jaws.
Yep.
Like, I think where this movie succeeds is that it just kind of says, okay, like we clearly don't have much of an original idea here. People are not going to see this movie for a strong narrative output. So let's shoot it well. Let's make it as bloody and gory as we possibly can. And especially towards the end of the movie, let's just go bonkers.
Yep.
Like, and for the most part, I think it succeeds in all of that. So, for genre fans who are just looking for something a little wild and a little gory, like this is gonna scratch that itch. And you are right, where like it's not gonna like be a movie we remember, because I don't think it has a strong narrative core. I think the movie doesn't even use its side characters very well, because it focuses so much on Zazie Beetz and her sister's arc that like you don't get any development from the Tom Feltons or the Patricia Arquette character and her husband. You get a little bit, but not a whole ton. Um, yeah. I don't know what else
No,
what I said or
building off of two things you said. One, with the action shots, you are totally right. There's that scene with the table flip up where she's behind the table and he like shoots a gun at the table,
Mhm.
and it screams like old Bruce Lee movies. Like that's all I could think of when that was happening. But I keep thinking on. Do you think this movie will be the kind of movie that they'll try to make a sequel to? And I was trying to rush that through my head. And while I don't think the movie deserves a sequel, I do feel like it could be kind of cool doing a separate version from the other people's point of view.
Sure. I
Because
don't care to see it.
I agree
Like,
with you that like the movie where it's heavily lacking is the the bad guys. We get like zero character development, none, and I think that's where the movie fails.
but like, I don't think that there's like a desperate draw to elaborate on that story, because I think the movie is so focused on Zazie Beetz' character. I mean, this movie doesn't leave any opening for a sequel for the most part. I mean, frankly, neither did Ready or Not, but I mean, we still got a sequel to it.
If you
Uh,
watch the ending, it actually very clearly does. I don't know if you
Ready or
caught it.
Not?
No, not for Ready or Not. For
Oh,
this one that we just watched.
I, eh, I mean, I guess. But I mean, yeah, sure. I guess it's one of those things where, like, if they really wanted to, they
They'd
could be
be
like,
able to, yeah.
and Draco returned, but and Palpatine has returned. But yeah, I mean, it's a solid B movie rating wise. Like, I don't think it's gonna like get Zazie Beetz an Oscar or get the director the next Marvel movie.
No.
But I mean, like, it's not a bad waste of $6.
Yeah, it's fun, it's witty. I mean, even if you don't catch it in theaters, like it's a fun streaming movie, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like, I don't know if it even has the juice to become like a cult film, but like I
No.
could see this movie like randomly dropping on a Tuesday on Netflix and it like staying in the top 10 for more weeks
Yeah,
than people previously expected, just kind of because of how kooky it is.
yeah, I could definitely see it even getting in the top spot of like number one on Netflix.
Yeah.
Not for like a long period, but I agree with you heavily that like when this streams, like it'll do good. It's not gonna do anything amazing. It's not gonna break the bank or change numbers, but it will do good.
Yeah, and this actually kind of reminds me of a conversation I was having with my buddy and Lizzie yesterday. My buddy Brad stopped over. We watched a couple movies, and we were talking about how like there's just not, you know, feel good comedies anymore, or at least that come to theaters, right? Like just family focused, really basic comedies, or even like really just basic action movies that aren't meant to like win Oscars or like transcend cinema, but like they just kind of are an enjoyable time for 90 minutes at the movies. And I feel like because we're so focused on like tentpole cinema and and like prestige stuff, because these studios are too afraid to fail, that like we don't get movies like this much anymore. So it's nice to see a movie that, it comes out, you enjoy it when you see it, it's a B plus movie, and yeah, maybe you never think about it again unless it's on TV once. Like I hope that post COVID we are now in a place where we just get more of these movies, right? Because I mean, there's going to be times where, you know, Colleen Hoover's Reminders of Him 17 comes out, and that's the big opening weekend, and like we could just use another, C plus action movie that comes out the same day, or a horror movie, or an animated movie of some kind. Like, so I think more options and just the more risks they take, for better or worse, like is only going to make movies better and the movie experience better.
I agree fully. I think it's great that we're finally getting back to a place where studios are willing to take risks on these weirder kind of films. It They kind of took a break for a really long time with the strike and COVID and just the all around economy. Um, so it's good to know that we're getting back into these fun projects that feel different, and we're not just remaking every movie from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Horror's also been horror, like historically, is also a great medium for experimentation. Like
Absolutely.
you can really get some cool, fascinating, out there stuff through the lens of a horror movie, because they're just like willing to they, I'm not making it seem like horror movie fans will take anything lying down, but like we're much more willing to accept the weird and the violent and the goofy in those kind of movies, rather than something that, your Marty Supremes or your Nomad Lands, or like, typical prestige dramas.
I agree with you
So
fully. It's honestly why movies like Evil Dead succeeded so well, is because the horror demographic is willing to sit with the slapstick humor and stuff like that. But like you said, the demographic going to see those Oscar movies are not gonna put up with weird, crazy, wacky stuff because they have a mindset of this is what a movie should be.
well, and unfortunately, because movies are just so expensive to make now, like you're never going to get the Sam Raimi making Evil Dead for peanuts, or John Carpenter making Halloween for a ham sandwich, right? So like you don't get a lot of that independently financed voices anymore.
Hmm.
So you have to we kind of have to rely on the daddy movie studios to, give us some crumbs. And so like whenever one of them leaks through, it's fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. And full heartedly, going all the way back to last year, Iron Lung, Markiplier, that was fully funded pretty much by him. And those are the kind of movies that are going to change what we see as films later on.
Yeah,
Not
and,
saying that
and
like
once
Iron
again,
Lung
I
was the top best movie ever. It wasn't the greatest, but like the
and
heart and soul that went into that was amazing.
and what do you know? I haven't thought about Iron Lung once since
We saw it.
after, like, since you just mentioned it.
Yeah.
But like it once again, I still stand by the fact that Iron Lung is a movie that I respect more than I like. And maybe this movie is similar too, even though I think I like this movie more than Iron Lung.
Oh, I can agree with that. I do agree with you that I respect Iron Lung more than I think it's a great movie.
Hmm. Yeah.
But do you
All
have
right. Well,
anything to close out or?
No, I mean, this ended up being kind of a nice little side discussion on the state of
Movies.
the theater experience, right? Like, yeah, like I hope that I really hope we finally kind of get back to the movies being a fun place to go again. I know it's expensive. I know not everybody has the luxury of doing what we can do, right? We have significant others who support us taking time every Tuesday to go see movies. We have a theater chain that does a discount movie, which makes it significantly easier to see them. Um, yeah, I mean, we are very lucky as movie fans to be in the situation we're in, but even for those who aren't, like, just to have options out there, so whenever you want to see a movie, you can go and see something that isn't just loaded with, Marvel garbage. Now I sound like Scorsese, but like,
I agree though.
Marvel
Yeah,
garbage, or just like, big IP tentpole stuff. So
yeah. Well, I guess we should end it out with, do you see They Will Kill You in theaters, or do you wait for streaming, Tyler?
I think you should. Normally, I don't recommend watching trailers because I think they can tend to give too much stuff away. But what I think you should do is I think you should watch the trailer for this movie. If it seems at all somewhat interesting to you, go see it on like a discount day and support it in theaters while you can. Otherwise, by all means, check it out. Like, I think it's worthy checking out, but like maybe not till it comes out on like HBO Max, or actually I have no clue who distributed this movie. Sorry, you go ahead and
No,
I'll tell you.
I also just want to add on to your point that I think we've seen this trailer at least 30 times since the trailer started dropping, right? I
Yeah.
went into this movie having zero idea at all what the movie was going to be about still. And like I think that, going off what you said about trailers giving too much, this was a great example of a trailer giving just enough where the whole movie was a surprise to me still.
Yeah. So it's Warner Brothers, so it's either going to be on HBO Max or Paramount, depending on if that acquisition
Yeah.
goes through. So,
Yeah. One or the
um,
other, or both, who knows?
well, either way, it's bad for movies. But
Yes, it is. One more thing I want to ask you,
Mhm.
and I'll put it out here for some vibes. I'll put you on the spot for a second. Maybe some people can comment. I know we're both kind of gamers also on the side. And possibly later this year when Halloween comes out, I'd love to maybe do some streaming with you on that.
Oof. Oh, dude, I'm sold. I
I
cannot
know you
wait.
are, dude. I know you are with
Oh,
these
I'm
four
so
free
excited for that game.
ones. Yeah, so I'd
I
love to
I
play
would
that.
I would give just about anything to have that like endorphin rush of like that first 2 or 3 months that Friday the 13th was out,
Yep.
and just the level of fun that we had with that game.
Dude,
Oh man.
I am hooked just because it is basically Friday the 13th with the skin. So
Yeah.
I am set. I would love to play it with you.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm so down. Like I might have to find a way to hook a controller up to my computer, but because
You
I don't know if I can do the
yeah,
do the keyboard and
I will
mouse
tell
yet.
you
But
something that'll change your life. Actually, if you just plug in your PS5 controller, it works automatically.
can I do that with this game that we're about to play?
No.
Damn it. Okay. All right, that's fine.
All right.
I got to
Well,
learn anyway if I'm gonna have a PC. So.
well, we will see you guys next week for possibly 2 episodes, maybe 1. Who knows? We'll see you next week. Bye. No jump scare this week. I'm not editing that.